welcome to the city of Seattle in the great state of Washington. We've got college basketball all lined up for you. It's number 21 Gonzaga hosting the Davidson Wildcats out of the Southern Conference in this, the annual Battle in Seattle. And welcome inside Seattle's Key Arena. Not expecting a sellout, but close. It should be a heck of a crowd in here tonight and a lot of noise for this great showdown between Gonzaga and Davidson. But we begin today with some breaking news. We're going to send it over to Nicole Zalumas. If you're a Zag fan, you'll be really interested in what she has to say.
Well, Zags fans are not going to be happy to hear this, but Matt Bolden will not be playing in today's game. He's still suffering from those concussion-like symptoms, which occurred during Wednesday's game for Augustana. He actually took a forehead into the small part of his cheek right underneath the bone. He said he's been clocked like that before, so he was lights out for a second, but they don't want to take any the precautionary measures they're going to take in tonight's game because he's still dizzy, still suffering from those concussion-like symptoms. So he's in street clothes on the bench, guys.
Thank you, Nicole. Craig Heiser and Craig Elo joining me now. And Craig, how does this affect Gonzaga? He's their best player, their leading scorer.
Well, I think Coach Hugh's got a couple of options. You move your second leading scorer, Stephen Gray, over to the shooting guard position and tell him shoot, 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 be aggressive to take up for those missed points that you're going to miss with Matt Bolden. And then I think the best option is Bo Kong playing into small forward. The young man has showed some tremendous upside in his offense lately, shooting the ball from three-point land pretty darn easy. But there's other options too. Manny Robb can play that position, and the bench has been awesome in the last few games also.
And for Davidson, this is a program. They're 2-6. They've been very competitive, Craig, but they're still trying to learn to play without Stephen Curry.
Yeah, you know, you would say that the cupboard is bare and that the team from the Elite Eight a couple years ago, there's nobody from that, but they still play Coach McKillop's way, the Davidson way. They run the floor, they play team defense, very unselfish, and they try to shoot the three as best they can.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 7th annual Battle in Seattle now, and every game to this point has been a heck of a ball game. So sit down and enjoy this one. It's Gonzaga, it's Davidson. We'll get you tonight's starting lineups and the tip-off when we come back.
They have, and a lot of guys have stepped up, and tonight they're going to have someone else step up other than Matt Bolden, like we mentioned in the pregame. That's not planned. Someone else has to shoot those shots that Matt has taken because he is the leading scorer on this team and the senior leader.
It'll be number 15, Jake Cohen, tipping off against Robert Sacre, 0-0. We'll get you the starting lineups here in just a moment. Davidson is 2-6. Gonzaga 7-2. And we are about to get underway, and we are underway. Gonzaga controlling the opening tip. This is Stephen Gray, number 32. And Grant Gibbs into the ball game. He'll get the start, his first career start for Gonzaga because of the injury to Matt Bolden. And they go deep. Sacre will go to the free throw line. He's fouled, our first foul of the game.
And you like what you see in Gonzaga right off the bat, going right inside. Robert Sacre's been a little bit out of sync in the past, but I tell you what, going right to him on the first play will give him some confidence.
There's your starting lineup. Robert Sacre, Dimitri Goodson, the point guard, Gibbs, the two guard, Elias Harris, and Stephen Gray for Gonzaga as Sacre misses the first end. That foul called on Jake Cohen, number 15. His first, team's first. And the starting lineups for Davidson: McKillop, Kuhlman, Cohen, Archambault, and Rossiter.
I like how you say Archambault. That guy's from Montreal, Quebec, so you got the
there's
little
a little French. Yeah, there's a little French in there.
I like that.
1 of 2 from the line, and Gonzaga with a 1-0 lead. One thing you'll say about Davidson, Craig, they're 2-6, but they're well coached. As you see a play like that, Rossiter with the bucket, they take the lead.
Yeah, Davidson moving the basketball very well. Archambault giving Rossiter a nice look and an easy basket.
Harris faked the shot, drive, wide open, right to the glass. Elias Harris, the freshman out of Speyer, Germany.
That's his game. You just don't know how to guard him. If he steps off of the post where he catches the ball and faces up, he's able to put the ball on the deck.
Kuhlman, little jump shot short. Long rebound, Grant Gibbs. Gibbs trying to go around the defender, and he's called for the offensive foul. Charge on Gibbs.
Never quite had control of the ball from the beginning when he took it. He might have should have just jump stopped, got under balance, and then looked for his teammates to come down. Instead, he chose to go all the way, and he ran into a Davidson player who drove the charge.
These two programs have only met once in their histories. Back in 2008, opening round of the NC2A tournament. You remember Stephen Curry dropped 40. Big game.
Started their run to that Elite Eight in, 30 seconds away from beating Kansas and going to the Final Four.
Curry was a great college player. Great play there to Archambault.
Well, it was a great off-the-ball screen. Archambault cut to the basket. Stevens tried to go on the high side, and when you try to go on the high side, it left the baseline wide open for Archambault and got a nice pass delivered to him.
Possession staying with Gonzaga. It'll be Stephen Gray to inbound with 28 seconds on the shot clock. And I say Davidson's well coached. Well, Bob McKillop has been there, the head coach, for 20 years as Harris drives with his second bucket for Gonzaga. But McKillop's been there for 20 years, and in this day and age in college basketball, if you're not a good coach, you're not going to be anywhere for 20 years.
No, and you can say Davidson is pretty similar in the fact that the Gonzaga, they're both smaller schools in their area, but that really doesn't mean anything. I totally agree with you. I think if you got the right coaching and the right guys coming in every year, you're going to stay there a long time.
Brendan McKillop, the three ball. Sacre. And a chance for three.
Well, again, Gonzaga's strength at the first part of the year was going inside, and Elias Harris and Robert Sacre have all the points for Gonzaga right now. Robert doing a nice job on the initial break of taking up that space in the middle of the lane, setting down and calling for the basketball.
Sacre long. Gibbs with the rebound. Out to Dimitri Goodson. Harris faked the three. Drive into the lane. And he count the bucket. Wow, we're in Seattle. Maybe the Sonics still do play here.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
You can't love that.
Oh, yeah, he was, 30 feet from the basket. Watch the replay. Look, here's where the foul is called. Right
Whistle.
there. 1, 2, and the basket.
Hey, I guess you take them when you can get them.
If you can get them, take them any way you can. I totally agree with you.
Chance for three now for Harris. Elias, the fortunate bounce.
And the Achilles heel for Gonzaga the last few games has been what? Free throw shooting.
Which is out of the ordinary for this program over the years.
But only two guys have shot free throws in this game, Robert and Elias.
That's Kuhlman. Davidson will play for the open shot. Kuhlman for three. That one's way off. Gonzaga basketball. Good Gonzaga defense there, Craig.
Well, they're going to stand on the perimeter and look for those shots and try to open up the inside game for themselves. But all you got to do is make sure you're right up on the offensive guy, close to him where you can contest all shots.
Gibbs right back to Sacre. Knocked away from behind. Foul called on Steve Rossiter, number 23.
Well, Davidson's they got to make up their mind. Robert's too big to play behind in the paint. And both times I've watched Rossiter play behind Robert Sacre, that time he tried to get away with a little, slapping the ball away from behind.
Gray. That's just a two. And Gonzaga's lead is 5.
They say the most hardest person to guard is the guy throwing the ball inbounds. If you don't pay attention to him, he'll step right back in, and Gonzaga gets Steven the ball.
That shot's long by Archambault. Gray hustling in the corner. And it'll be Davidson basketball. There's Mark Few, 11th season at Gonzaga, 271 wins.
We'll go ahead and say it too. 21st year at Gonzaga. 11 as a head coach now and 10 as an assistant.
Davidson 3 of 4 to open the game. Gonzaga yet to miss a shot. And there's McKillop, 369 wins in 21 years. You know, and also in this day and age with big money in college basketball, you have to commend the guy for staying at a place like Davidson, as we have a foul on Robert Sacre, for staying at Davidson all of these years, for 21 years. These coaches now, even like a Mark Few, they have such wonderful opportunities to make more money, go to a bigger institution, but yet they stay at these places and continue to build their program.
That's old school. You don't find that anymore. I totally agree with you. Everybody's jumping. You know, Calipari's a perfect example. You know, been at Memphis, Massachusetts, and all of a sudden Kentucky comes knocking, and bam, he jumps at it. But these two guys have stayed at their respective universities and done very well for themselves. You know what? I got to think, though, Davidson's in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's not a bad place to live. It's like the 18th largest city in the country. They got all kinds of sports, teams there. Charlotte Bobcats and NASCAR, of course. They got NASCAR. And it'd be a nice place to live. Lots of good lakes and lots of good golfing there. So probably the quality of lifestyle that Mark Few has in Spokane that he enjoys so much, I'm sure Coach McKillop has that in North Carolina.
Kelly Olynyk, number 13, a freshman from Canada, in for Gonzaga. And Bryant Barr, number 24, in for Davidson. 4-point game. And now we've got a 3-second call on Harris. Turnover, Gonzaga, Davidson basketball.
Well, you can't fault Elias on that. If I was coaching, I would fault the ball movement and not looking into him. If he's open in there, you got to get it to him. Too much dribbling on the point and the ball not moving from one side of the floor to the other will cause a 3-second.
This is Barr from the corner, short on the three. Kicked out, McKillop with it now for Davidson. They'll move to the side. Olynyk at 6'11", guarding McKillop at 6'1". Allison trying Harris on the baseline, missed the shot. This is Stephen Gray. Here's Olynyk out on top, and they go to the post. Harris double team comes quickly. Here's Gibbs inside, tried to go to Olynyk. Great idea, but a kickball called. That was wide open for a jam. He was
wide open, but if Grant just shoots the ball and misses, Kelly's right there for offensive positioning. But Grant's a passer.
15:36 to play first half, 4-point game. Leading all scorers with 7 points. He's off to a hot start, Craig.
Well, we talked about that in our last broadcast also. Elias Harris not having a good first half. With Matt Bolden out, he's got to step up his offense and become a great first half player. You know, he's had great games in the second half of games, but now with Matt out, he's got to really make his mark tonight in the first half.
Yeah, Bolding averaging 17 points a game. He's out if you're just joining us. Olynyk left that short. Rebound number 34, Frank Benizzi for Davidson. Benizzi, a sophomore out of Arlington, Virginia, but he's from Nigeria. Coleman to the far side. He'll stay with Davidson. If Benizzi was able to handle that pass, he had a jam.
Yeah, Stephen was on the high side in a mismatch. He got switched off onto Benizzi and tried to come over the top. He was able to get just his fingertips on the basketball and deflect it.
Coleman will shoot three. Foul on Stephen Gray.
That doesn't happen very often. Did you see where the ball came from the right side of the floor? Stephen turned his head, and just for that split second of turning his head, the ball came right behind him. Then he had to run out to the jump shooter, and you're never supposed to foul a jump shooter from out there.
But you know, for that jump shooter shooting that three and with a defender coming at you, it's a heck of an opportunity for the shooter to be theatrical.
That's true. World B3 was great.
A lot like the field goal kicker in football.
You got to act.
Or the punter.
Yep.
You got to act like you got clobbered.
Yes.
I don't think he was hit that hard there by Gray.
It was just the off balance, the fact that Stephen was running out, adding to challenge the shot, and the little body contact was enough to draw the foul.
Goodson. You can see the blazing speed that number 3 possesses for Gonzaga. Coast to coast. Oh, Benizzi inside for Davidson. Great look. And the big fella with 2 hands, but here's Goodson right back at the other end. And he'll shoot free throws. Well, that'll get the crowd and some energy going in here.
Yeah, both teams really going at each other on those two possessions. Meach just finished a nice layup on one end, and then Davidson attacks right back. And when you draw help, you leave the big fella open. The rotation on the backside doesn't come down and take Benizzi. Then you get a dunk shot like Davidson got with a nice delivery from the point guard.
That foul called on J.P. Coolman, his second. And that is 5 team fouls now on Davidson. Goodson misses the front end as we take another look at Benizzi.
Yeah, see, Kelly was going to try. If you don't have your scouting report all the way down and the big guys on a screen and roll is in between, you see exactly what happens. Kelly had no idea, was I supposed to hedge, was I supposed to trap? And when he got in between, Benizzi ran right to the basket and got a nice pass and a dunk for Benizzi.
Gonzaga now 3 of 6 from the free throw line. Benizzi posting up, wanting the ball. And he doesn't get it. And a foul called on. And this is a biggie, Craig. That's number 2 on Gray. And with Matt Bolden out and Stephen Gray, your other best option offensively from the guard position, this is a big foul early in this game.
Yeah, you know, Stephen had good position. He moved his feet very well. But then when he brought the ball up and was into the shooting motion, Stephen brought his hand down. And sometimes it's just hard to do. I mean, you try to keep your hand straight up, but sometimes it's just your instinct to slap down.
Archambault with the front end of the free throw. Stephen Gray out of the game, replaced by Mengistu Arap, a freshman out of Canada. 1 of 2 from the line. Dimitri Goodson, boy, a really young lineup for Mark Few out there right now. Here's the elder, Robert Sacre, the sophomore. The sophomore playing with 4 freshmen.
His other counterpart, Meach, is out there.
Well, that's true, too. Okay.
Yeah, Meach is a sophomore.
Goodson's a sophomore. Yeah. A couple of sophomores and 3 freshmen. Still very young.
Yep.
Well, there should be a good defensive lineup with Ropp and Goodson.
Quickness.
Sacre patrolling the middle. Archambault missed the shot, deflected. And Benizzi with it for Davidson and a new shot clock.
You know, both of these teams have certain ways of playing basketball, and Davidson, just like Gonzaga, you know, they want to get to every loose ball and every opportunity.
Wow, what a shot by Frank Benizzi.
That was about a 17-foot hook shot?
Off the glass. No basket here by Goodson. Foul called prior to the shot. Foul called here on Benizzi as we take a look at what he did offensively. Great spin. Off the glass. That's impressive.
That is, from the distance he was shooting it from, that was by far the toughest shot of the night so far.
6'10" sophomore will go to the bench. And number 35, Dan Nelms, a senior out of Lake Forest, Illinois, in for Davidson. Both actually 6 fouls now on Davidson, so 1 more, and Gonzaga will be in the bonus. Gonzaga has 14 fouls. Goodson driving to the baseline off the glass and good.
Well, Meach tonight again with Matt Bolden out. He's got to help out on the scoring end, and he has to be aggressive. That's his game. Once he gets on the baseline, I think he's very good down there with his quickness and going up strong against the taller guys in there.
Cohen at the high post, back to McKillop. And now Cohen working on Sacre. Trying to pin number 2 on him. They kick it out with 5 on the shot clock. Back to Cohen, driving on Sacre, and he dribbled it off his foot out of bounds. It'll be Gonzaga basketball. Hey, if the clock's ticking down, and you know Sacre's already got 1, at least try to get a foul.
Lean into him, yeah. I think, especially when you catch the ball in the post, and if you're Coleman down there catching the ball, or actually that was Cohen, Jay Cohen, yeah. He dribbled way too much. I mean, you make 1 move and then go with it.
And Manny Rock from the baseline. Good-looking jumper, 6-point lead for Gonzaga. McKillop dribbled it off his foot, now Goodson with it. Gonzaga with the numbers. Goodson lost the handle, saved it. Ropp trying to do the same, and it goes to Davidson.
Sometimes things happen. I mean, Meach has just got a full court
Easy basket coming for the Zags, and look at the expression on his face. He's going to dunk that thing.
He was.
Just lost the handle, and then Manny just wasn't ready for Meach to tip it back to him.
Gonzaga shooting 9 of 10. Davidson 5 of 11. So Gonzaga's been red hot and really tearing it up in the paint.
That's the strength of their game, the inside game. When Robert and Elias are in the game, they've got to utilize those two guys in the paint. They dominated almost all the games that Gonzaga has played this year.
G.J. Villarino in for GU, number 5, a freshman out of McKinney, Texas. 5 again on the shot clock for Davidson. This is McKillop. They won't get a shot off again. That's 2 possessions in a row without a shot. And Gonzaga feeling it right now. They lead it by 6 in Seattle. We'll be right back. Time for a flashback. December 13, 2003. Rony Turioff scored 21 of his 23 points after halftime. Blake Stepp added 14 and 10 assists. Number 17, Gonzaga's dramatic 87-80 overtime victory over number 3, Missouri. And that was the inaugural Comcast battle in Seattle. I told you they have played some dandies here in this arena over the years. Number 7, Craig. We're getting old.
Yeah, it just keeps going. Time doesn't stop. I wished it would stop, but it doesn't.
And there you see what Gonzaga's done. They're 3-3, this being the 7th game of this tournament.
Yeah, that Missouri started out with a bang. I tell you, that was, I think people really expected the rest of the games to be like that. And, of course, Nevada came in here and snuck up on Gonzaga and beat them. And then there's been some good.
Good. They had Nick Fazekas, the best player in the history of that league.
Yep.
And as Harris. Oh, his 3rd make from behind the arc. Now 3 of 11.
And how about this, Greg? Look at the hot shooting. The only shot Gonzaga's missed has been what? Kelly Olynyk's little baby hook in the lane.
And free throws coming as Nick Cochran got inside and drew the foul on Manny Ropp, number 1.
Gonzaga is 10 of 11 from the field. 1 of 1 now from three-point land. And
10 of 11. The good news for Davidson, you're only down 9.
That's pretty good when a team shoots like that. I mean, you'd be happy to be down anything below 10.
Now, if Gonzaga continues that for the next 11 minutes of this first half, it'll be different at half.
It'll stretch it out, yeah.
You're still there.
Yep.
As Cochran hits the first free throw. This is a freshman out of Vancouver, British Columbia. A lot of players out of Vancouver on this floor. Manny Ropp's a Canadian. Kelly Olynyk, Old Kong. You just saw Nick Cochran. Here's Sacre deep. And he draws the foul. This will be on Dan Nelms, number 35.
As a coach, I would have been furious at Grant Gibbs for making that pass from where he made it. But the way he made it, totally threw the defense off. Didn't think that he was going to pass it from there. Bounce that pass from all the way from the top of the key all the way down to the bottom of the back.
That is 17 fouls now on Davidson. Sacre at about 12 points and 8 rebounds. 8 or 6 rebounds a game this season.
Yeah, and I think he
started out right up around 16, 17
he was
points.
Incredible. Everything he did was just gold. I mean, it was just amazing what he was doing in the competition he was doing it against. And then he kind of flattened out, but you know what? He's still young, so you're going to have those that peaks and valleys with him. Those ebbs and flows of the game will come and go with him.
Here's Cochran. Archambault has been easy posting up for Davidson. Archambault to Allison. Nice play.
Good little slip. Elias was watching the ball instead of his man, and his man slipped right to the basket.
Turnover Gonzaga. Villarino got caught in the air, hoping for the foul, but it's Davidson basketball with 10-12 to play in the first half.
Now you want your point guard never to make that mistake. If you leave the ground, you got to teach him, stay on the ground, keep your dribble alive, back out of there, you know, like a Steve Nash does so well, or find someone with a pass when your feet are on the ground.
And the skip pass to Cochran, and he bangs in the 3. And just like that, it's a 3-point game.
How about Nick Cochran? Last 3 possessions, 2 free throws.
Sacre! Over the double team.
Well, he's just so darn strong. I mean, it's hard if that's something that he's got to work on a lot, is when the double team does come, make your move quick. Here, see, he's already made the move. Defense too slow to get over there. And once he gets that deep, he's got you at his will.
And you can see Bob McKillop in the background of that shot, the head coach of Davidson, really unhappy. I think the defense was a little late getting there on that double team.
Well, and I think if they've done any scouting on Robert, then the success of teams like Washington State that double teamed him on the pass and took the ball out of his hands, you know, Robert had trouble with that kind of stuff. So I think he's going to see a lot of that. He's going to see a lot of double teams coming on the pass. And that's why if he does catch it, make your move quickly before the defense gets over there.
McKillop, deep three.
Oh!
His second of the game. And it's a three-point game in Seattle. And now a foul inside. And this is called on Frank Benizzi. This is number 2 on Benizzi.
Look at that. That's NBA range by McKillop.
It certainly was. Averaging 6 points a game. He's a 36% shooter from 3. He's got 2 this half.
And sometimes when you're undersized like him, I mean, he's a smaller point guard. You got to use that space to get yourself shots, and that's exactly what he did.
And we've got a timeout with 9:19 to play first half. Gonzaga with a 3-point lead on Davidson at 28-25. And we'll stay right here.
No quit. Right there at Davidson, too. I tell you, you know, the benefit of that, too, if you work at the university, your kids get to go to the university for free, right?
Right.
So.
Hey, Craig, Gonzaga 11 of 12. They're shooting 92%.
Yeah, but they're horrible at the free throw line again.
But they're only up by 3. When's the last time you saw 10 minutes of basketball played, a team shoot 92% and you lead by that?
Well,
no call inside?
Yep.
Oh, and a foul on Zachary. That's his second. And, of course, the crowd not liking it in here, and they just got another look at it. Well, it was a late call by the officials. I thought they were going to go no call for a minute.
You know what happens is I think the official watches the play more than when he watched Robert's feet being stuck on the floor. And he sees that Cochran is going away from Robert even though there's contact. And I think he thinks that Cochran's avoiding the contact. But watch, Robert's got his feet set. Even though there's contact, they got to call that. See, that angle's not good because it looks like Cochran runs straight into Zachary. But the other one showed him kind of going away. And I think the official gives the offensive player the benefit there.
So Zachary on the bench with his 9 points and 2 personal fouls. And just like that, we've got a 1-point game. This is Manny Rock. Baseline may have been deflected. Rebound by Cohen. And back come the Wildcats.
Well, the one thing that we told you in the pregame is that they played the Davidson way. That was a good possession. They stopped the shot on one end, and then they run the floor with a post coming down the middle and 2 wings, and had great spacing.
10 on the shot clock. Harris with some defense. And now McKillop. Free ball is third of this half. And Davidson with a 2-point lead. Olynyk can't make the catch. That's a turnover. An ill-advised pass.
Not a good choice by Meach. He's a point guard. He's got to make a better decision than to throw the ball to Kelly Olynyk, who has his back turned and a defender in front of him.
Plus, you got to understand, momentum just changing the game. It's Davidson's first lead. You got to protect that possession.
And you come down and you get your team into something. If the break's not there, back them out, set them up into something. I totally agree with you on that.
8:08 to play first half. Davidson with that 3 ball. Their first lead of the game at 30-28. And they're on an 8-0 run. And it's the first time they've led since it was 2-1.
Well, they just kept hanging around. They kept playing hard. And I think when you play hard and you know, don't let Gonzaga get away from you the way they're shooting the basketball, you're always in the ballgame.
And Harris will go to the free throw line. Foul called on Jake Cohen. We'll be right back from Seattle.
each year.
And welcome back to Seattle's Key Arena. Greg Heister, Craig Elo, and Nicole Zalumis were courtside for Gonzaga and Davidson. And the fouls starting to mount for Gonzaga, Craig. Robert Sacre and Stephen Gray both on the bench now with 2 personal fouls, which is exacerbated by the fact that Matt Bolden is not playing in this game because of an injury. That's a lot of offense and a lot of, well, 3 starters. Stephen Gray's back in the game now, but he's missed substantial time.
There was a lot of minutes that he was out with those fouls, and I tell you what, the Achilles heels again is to get Zags at the free throw line. With that one, they are now 5 of 11. Missed opportunities at the line is just, it's hurting them.
And he missed another. That's off of Gibbs. It'll go to Davidson. And Davidson also with 4 players with 2 personal fouls. And we've got a 2-point game. Despite the fact that Gonzaga's 11 of 13, they've cooled off a bit.
Yeah, they missed
now
2 shots.
At 85%.
You were at 90, yes.
This is Nelms. And now McKillop, who has 3 3-point makes this half for the Wildcats.
Very deliberate.
Yeah, and they're very deliberate with 8 seconds on the shot clock. And again, McKillop, deep 3!
Oh.
He's got another!
Again, that is not just a college 3. That's NBA range 3s.
And as a team, they're 5 of 7 from behind the arc. And Gray misses at the other end for Gonzaga. And now the foul on Kelly Olynyk. But Brendan McKillop shooting 30% from behind the arc, averaging 6.6 points a game, has 4 makes from behind the arc in this game.
Just look at the stretch of the defense. Look at, man, that's not even NBA. That's beyond NBA. But you know what? When you're the coach's son, you can take those shots anytime you want.
Well, you know, I guess in his mind, until the defense starts stretching
out to me,
I'm going to keep shooting them as long as I feel it.
Yeah, I totally agree with it.
And Bryant Barr hits the first end.
Because if I'm defending him and he's that far back, I mean, I would try to stay close and have my hand up at least. But, you know, you'd still would think he's not going to pull the trigger from there.
Yeah, right. Davidson on a 13-0 run. And they have built a 7-point lead.
Zags have been stuck on 28 since 9-19.
Here's another turnover. This is what happens, Craig, when you take your best player,
senior leader,
your only senior as a starter, and you take him out of the game. You know, with Matt Bolden, Gonzaga could always post him up and go get an easy bucket. Or they could work something around the perimeter and get him an open. He's a 41% shooter from behind the arc. This is a major loss, not just from points, but from all the intangible qualities that come with being who he is.
Leadership, he's the guy that holds them down and keeps them in control when things start going bad.
Gonzaga with a 30-second timeout. And again, now Gonzaga's 11 of 14 shooting, and they've turned the ball over 6 times, and that's led to 5 points for Davidson. But what's happening here, Craig, Davidson started out shooting the ball slowly. They're now at 63%, 10 of 16, but they're 5 of 7 from behind the arc. That's been the difference.
That's huge. I mean, that extra point gets you, I mean, that's you got the ball twice, you get 6 points out of that. I mean, that's huge. And there's, you see Matt in a nice little pink shirt and blue and green tie. Very festive for the holiday season over here in Seattle.
It is festive. Dimitri Goodson watching McKillop.
You got to stay close to him, Meach.
Somebody should.
You hit one on me, yes. You know, you hit 2, shame on me. I'm going to get close up to you.
McKillop now in the lane, left it short, got his own rebound back. And then he threw it away. Brian Barr had decided to cut to the basket, and McKillop thought he would stay outside. So that's an unforced turnover. Gonzaga basketball.
Yeah, again, you got to make eye contact with the guy you're throwing to. But I think Barnes thought, my point guard has the basketball. I'll just go screen someone from the other side. But McKillop wanted to swing the ball through him and get the ball to the other side after that missed shot.
Davidson started this game shooting 3 of 8. Since they've been 7 of 9. So they've got it going. But the other trend that's starting to form here, Craig, is rebounding. And you know, the last several games, Mark Thew's not been happy with his team's effort rebounding. They're down by 5. 10-5 right now in the rebounding margin. Stephen Gray, deep three way off. He'll shoot free throws.
Turnaround is fair play, right? Steven got called fouling a three-point shooter earlier in the game. He decides to give the world B free leg kick out there, and the defender runs right through him and knocks him down, and now he's earned a trip to the free throw line for 3 shots.
78% free throw shooter. Of course, Stephen Gray had an opportunity to force overtime in that game against Wake Forest with free throws and a chance to shoot 3 of them. He's 2 of 2.
Given the opportunity again, now you're going to see that the young man, he's got ice in his veins. I've seen him shoot at Santa Clara when we thought everything was down and out at Santa Clara, and went and put that game into overtime. So
those are the first points by Gonzaga in better than 3 minutes and 35 seconds. So they've gone cold. Cochran inside, missed it. Bull Kong with the rebound, and then he's fouled by Will Archambault.
Okay.
And that's 11 team fouls on Davidson.
Big point out of this now. That was Stephen got Gonzaga back onto the good side of shooting free throws, not where a team wants to be. With Stephen's 3 in a row there, gives them 8 for 15. Now in double bonus in the last 5 minutes, if you're on the offense, you're going at people. You're not giving up the perimeter jump shot, because you're going to put the ball on the floor, create some contact, and get into that double bonus situation and start knocking down free throws.
And as a player, Craig, you have to understand the situation. The coach should not have to tell you that.
No, that's you got to look up there and know what's going on. And I think every player out there, Meach, Grant Gibbs, Stephen might be the only one that probably would stick on the perimeter. I mean, he's not very aggressive with his putting the ball on the floor and getting to the hole. But the rest of them, Elias, Bull, you know, we saw Bull add something to his game. He's just not a three-point shooter. He can also put it on the floor.
And now Gonzaga with some pressure defense. Davidson doing a good job, deflected out of bounds by Bull Kong. Hey, get your copy of Gonzaga's Decade of Excellence DVD, packed full of highlights, interviews, and the memories that have made Gonzaga's Decade of Excellence. Order online at gozags.com or call 877-281-4377. 26 on the shot clock. Now you see the intensity by Gonzaga picking up a bit. And now a loose ball. Players on the floor. Who's got it? Possession arrow favors Davidson.
You like what you see that the Bulldogs are doing, though. They're not sitting back, letting Davidson do what they want to do. They're pushing them, trapping them, and giving them a different defensive look.
And Stephen Gray, now a junior. You remember that game against Davidson in the NC2A tournament?
Oh, him and
Stephen Curry was 8 of 10 from behind the arc. Well, Stephen Gray hit 7 threes in that game versus Davidson. And Nicole, you got more.
Well, Stephen Gray, being a local product, he's a Bainbridge High School graduate. He says anytime he can get to the west side to play, it's fun. Tonight, his parents and a couple of friends from high school are here to watch, so he wants as many minutes as possible, guys.
That is always a big thing for a kid to come home and play in front of the family and the friends. Oh, it's a huge day.
Yeah, the only problem is he's sorting out tickets.
4 on the shot clock. McKillop may not see it. Shot away no good by Barr. That would have counted. And here's Bull Kong. Nearing the 5-minute mark at the battle in Seattle in the first half. Grant Gibbs, 3-ball, way off. Barr with the rebound. And McKillop with it near side. Now he moves to the middle. And then the far side. Skip pass. Barr faked the 3. Drive on Goodson. Hangs. Missed it. Rebound by Nelms. McKillop again. That one's short. And now he's fouled. It's Grant Gibbs by Nick Cochran. And Gibbs will shoot free throws. And You talked about free throws. Gonzaga 5 of 12 to open the game. They've made their last 5.
That's exactly what you got to do. You got to be aggressive, especially with the double bonus situation. Make sure, you can score the basketball shooting with no one in your face. That's the best thing about it, is shooting a free throw. And you got to capitalize. You got to be a good free throw shooting team.
Gibbs now making it 6 of 6.
And you always worry about a guy's psyche. Grant just was in the corner, shot an air ball. You always worry about the guy, going up to the line after the next possession. Grant calmly steps up there and knocks down 2 more. So you're right. Since Steven went 3 for 3, Bull Kong went 2 for 2. And now Grant Gibbs 2 for 2. That's the way you want to knock down free throws.
And it's a 7-0 run. And another turnover. This is Villarino. Bounce pass. Gibbs can't finish. Harris 10. Gonzaga back out in front. And now we've got a timeout by Davidson.
Well, just like I said, Gonzaga got stuck for about 3 minutes on 28. Now Davidson stuck on 35 for about 3 minutes. So Gonzaga imposing their will defensively. And then hustling after shots like this. Grant misses. Nice look by GJ to get Grant the ball, but there's Elias cleaning up. I love that kind of guy. I love the garbage man. Those are the best points ever.
He reminds you of Larry Nance at all?
He's got a little
Nance
bit,
is a bit taller, I know, but
he shot a lot of jumpers.
And Nance could square and take a guy.
He could square, and he actually always brought his guy out, so he could get that face up and then put the ball on the floor and get to the rim. So, yeah, there's some similarities in there. Yeah.
And I know Nance was a high flyer. Didn't he win the dunk tournament one year?
The
NBA
first
All-Star
dunk contest
weekend?
that actually the ABA had it all those years with Dr. J, and then they finally got one in, David Thompson won all those ABA dunk contests too. Finally, the NBA puts it into their All-Star game, and Larry Nance beats Dr. J with I think he stuffed 2 balls at once.
Of course, you played with Larry Nance back in your days with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Great guy. You don't meet very many guys that you just truly like and stay in touch with the rest of your life, and that's I do with Larry. Now, it's kind of like what you talked about with the guys in the decade of excellence.
Foul inside.
The camaraderie you built with your teammates. You could tell on everybody that you talked to in that DVD from Gonzaga.
So Ben Allison will shoot free throws. And Davidson now has not scored in 3 minutes. Well, Gonzaga went on their 9-0 run. 7 of those points from the free throw line.
Now, it's funny, if you can just weather some of those storms and get into those 13, 14-0 runs, if you just got a 7-0, 8-0 run, that's what basketball is. It's just a game of runs put together.
Allison left it short. He's a sophomore out of West Sussex, England.
Probably came here looking for some rain. Probably rains a lot, doesn't it? Thinking, well, I'm going to Seattle, but actually it's been 2 gorgeous days here that I've been here.
Just a bit chilly, I guess, for Seattle weather.
Yeah.
Another foul here on Davidson.
And speaking of that, Davidson's from Charlotte, right? North Carolina.
20 miles.
Flew out here and got here, at 9:30 last night? That's a long trip for these young men, and then didn't shoot around this morning because the game's a 4 o'clock start, but came over to shoot around. They brought the team over.
And then so they're on the red eye out of here tonight.
Yeah.
Because it's finals week.
It's finals. You got to get
back. For both programs, finals week. So Gonzaga's lead now 3. And, of course, this has been a half of the typical runs in college basketball. Davidson had that great run around the 10-minute mark. 13-0 run, if I remember right. Now Gonzaga's on their run. And they've regained the lead.
And they've made most of that run from the free throw line. Only one shot that cleanup by Elias putting it back.
That's 7 turnovers now by Davidson. We've got a 4-point game in Seattle. We'll be right back.
Today through this Sunday, it's super-sized bargains on Serta's best-selling mattress sets.
Leading scorer in Gonzaga basketball history. And now he's a U.S. District Court judge over here in Seattle. But it's always great to see Frank. And he played at a time, it led the nation in scoring.
Yeah.
When he was at Gonzaga at a much different time than we enjoy today.
There was no shot clock, but, 36 points almost all the time from that man in his games. That's impressive. Now, you think that his other teammates couldn't shoot? No, he was on some pretty good teams. They were pretty well coached.
39-35 our score. There's a deflection, turnover. And Villarino took it right back for GU. Bull Kong, Harris into the middle. Attack, and a chance for three. Harris having a big first half for Gonzaga. 14 points, 1 rebound, 5 of 5 shooting. Actually 6 of 6 now.
Again, doing a nice job putting the ball on the floor and going in at the defense. Gonzaga's made 9 straight free throws, 10 now, since we talked about them not knocking them down.
Well, that'll help the percentage.
Yeah, that makes them 15 for 22.
McKillop working on Goodson. And now Kong switch. Allison, McKillop. They're way out on McKillop now. Even.
Yeah, and a bigger player. I know Kong got switched out on him, but not a bad switch.
Cochran into the middle. Hangs in the paint, no good. Tipped around. G.J. Villarino, and this guy can fly. McKillop back with them. They won't go. Rebound number 35, Dan Nelms. And McKillop now with it for the Wildcats. Cochran thought about the 3 in transition. Allison calling for it inside for Davidson. Davidson can put some big guys out there. Nelms is 6'10". Allison is 6'9". He looks bigger than that. 6 on the shot clock. Now 2. McKillop. Barr didn't get it off. It went in. They're not going to count that, are they?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that was great defense by the Bulldogs.
Because there wasn't even close to getting it off in time.
No, I think McKillop saw the shot clock, but it was great defense. The screen came over, and he slipped too quick, and the defensive guys stopped on McKillop, and he had to give the ball up, and when he did, it was too late for Barr to hit the shot.
Harris posting up. That's too far out. He turns and goes. Got it out to Kong. The 3 is good. Tell you, Bull Kong has been deadly from outside. 8 of 13 coming into this game. Allison at the other end. He answers for Davidson.
That gets them off of their snide. It's been a while since they've had a basket.
And a personal foul on McKillop.
But go back to driving hard. Okay, here's the shot that we said was no good. Does the red light?
Yeah, it's at 0.
You got better eyes than me. I couldn't see it.
You take another look at it. You see the shot clock up in the top right hand of the
Where's the red
screen.
lights?
It must not be working. It did not work on the backboard.
That's the
You're talking about the lights
key.
on the backboard?
Yeah, on the backboard.
No,
it
you
should
had
have
to-
shined up,
You
lit up.
had to look at the clock. And actually, from our vantage point, when he took the shot right in front of us, it was an easy glance.
It looked
at
like
the
it's
clock.
still in his hands, yeah.
9-point Gonzaga lead. J.P. Coleman, number 5, with it. And now he goes deep to Cohen, who got great position on Harris and finished. All that work was done prior to the basketball arriving.
Yes, he walked Harris into the paint and then locked and sealed.
Kong, short on that shot. Under a minute 20 now to play in the first half. It'll be important for both teams, I think, to finish this half strong. Deflected by Villarino. Because even though Gonzaga now with a 7-point lead, Craig, this has been a game of momentum swings. There isn't really a dominant feel by either team in this game yet.
No, I meant both teams had their lapses where they let the other team dominate on the offense, not playing hardly any defense. And right now, the Zags on their little offensive run have looked impressive. That's a great
slip there. Cohen with the finish. Archambault with the assist.
That's a good fill. Cohen just felt Bowl leave him and get ready to jump on the dribbler. And when he did, he slipped right to the rim.
And the turnover. 5-point game. And Davidson with the opportunity to chisel away even more. Coleman bangs in the three from the corner.
Just like you said, who can sustain?
We've got a 2-point game.
It just is getting more exciting each time down. It looks like that it's going to be a game of runs the rest of the way.
With 34.8 to play in the first half.
Good look by Cochran to get the ball up to a wide open Coleman.
I mean, that's what's happening here, though, Craig. It seems like a lot of offense is coming the last few positions as they go in.
Yeah.
And Davidson on a 7-0 run now in the last minute and a second.
Isn't that something?
And these runs haven't been like 14-3. They've been 9-0, 7-0. Disappears offensively.
Well,
so Gonzaga is going to lead by 2 at the half.
Or by 4.
Or by 4.
Or by 5.
And McKillop out on Goodson, not making it easy. Making sure they're moving the ball. And now Stephen Gray with it. And 10 on the shot clock.
This is when you start. Yeah, you get under 10, you want to make sure you get...
Goodson lost the handle.
Yeah, I just don't
Davidson
like the
basketball with 4.7 to play.
All the dribbling and that. You know, we've always seen Gonzaga really move the basketball well. That time, just a lot of dribbling in that last, you know, like you said, Gonzaga should have taken the last shot in the half or not given Davidson an opportunity.
I think you have to give Davidson credit for pressuring the ball and making Goodson not just stand out there and drain the clock. A lot of teams do that.
Yeah.
And they got him out of a rhythm early. And now let's see if Davidson's shot is away. Off the glass, no good.
There's the red light.
It worked that time. Rossiter can't hit it, but it was close. Harris led the way with 15 points. Sacre with 9. Let's go down to Nicole Zalumas.
Coach, how much not having Matt Bolden, how much is it affecting your leadership on the team?
Well, I mean, he's a gigantic part of who we are. I think we're handling it really, really well. We just need to play better defense. Our defense stinks right now.
We've seen a lot of young guys out there, 3 freshmen, 2 sophomores. What are you seeing from the youth movement?
Well, I think having Matt out, that's exposing us a lot on the defense. We need his experience because Davidson is so well at reading how you play screens and passing and cutting, and those freshmen are a little bit confused out there with a lot of that. But there were stretches of good basketball there. We just got to we got through the half with Rob having 2 and Steve having 2 and survived it, so hopefully they can play a little bit longer this half.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half. Guys?
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Nicole. Elias Harris led Gonzaga with 15 points. Goodson with 7. But I tell you got to give Davidson some credit, Craig, coming all this way. They're right here. This is a 2-6 team looking for confidence.
Well, even though they played each other just once, and it was a tight-knit ball game in that game that they played in that first round, I think the familiarity just gives Davidson that confidence. And like you said, having come cross-country, that's impressive because they've just got in late. They're playing well.
2-point game. We're at the half in Seattle. Come on back. All right, let's check in with Nicole Zaluma. She's got a very special guest for us. Nicole.
Very special is right. He's the all-time leading scorer for the Zags, Frank Burgess. Thank you for joining me today. Well, first of all, I don't think we expected this game to be this close. Are you having fun?
Well, I'm having fun. I didn't think so either. Every time I think we were ahead by, a good margin, I look up and they're right there. So, but I think we were okay.
Looking at this Zags team, obviously Matt Bolden's not playing today, but he said that this team in particular, they pound against each other, they're tough, they're fighters. Do you see that this season as well?
I do. I think they well knit. What I see through them, they like each other. And, when you like each other, you play, well, it's like family, And so that's great. So we're going to have a fine run, I think. We're just waiting for March Madness now, I think. A little bit, yeah.
That's right. Frank, you have a long list of accomplishments. I can't even name them because it would take up our whole halftime segment. But you were honored here at the Battle of Seattle. Talk about winning that or just being honored at this game.
Well, being honored is always great, because, after you've been somewhere, and especially been gone a long time, there are a lot of things to think about more current than now. And so when somebody takes the time to remember you, that's always good. So, you know, and you know, you don't like for things to, I guess, to be forgotten. I guess maybe that's the word, forgotten. And but it's about these guys. You know, I come to see these guys play, and they do things, and it's a little different game than when I played. But I enjoyed it. You play in your own time. You know, that's the only time you can play.
Well, first of all, I have to say you're not going to be forgotten. You're in the history books. A lot of people are going to remember you for a long time. But talk about how the game has changed since the 60s to now.
I didn't understand that.
How has the game changed from the 60s
well, that's changed.
to now?
I think they play more above the rim. We like to consider ourselves more shooters than we did, you know, dunkers, I suppose. And so I think that may be the main difference. And they're bigger. They're bigger. Maybe they eat better than we did. So, you know. So, but it's great to see that. You know, the evolution of the game. It's good. It's good.
Okay, Frank, I have to ask you this. What is your prediction for the Gonzaga this season?
We'll be in the tournament, of course, and I think we're going to be in the regional. We just got to settle down and do things, and like I said, we do it as a team. You know, one night is one way, and the next night is another way in terms of who's making the best contribution. And I think that's the kind of team we got, so it's going to be great.
But we have to get Bolden back in the game.
Oh, sure. He took quite a hit the other night, so I think it's best to do what's happening here tonight.
Gonzaga legend. Thank you, Frank Burgess, for joining us. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Nicole. And Craig Germany stepping up.
Yeah, how about this? Perfect from the field, 6 of 6, making great moves with the basketball and getting himself to the rim. Made the only three-pointer, or actually the first three-pointer for Gonzaga. But I tell you what, this kid's impressed me all year long just because of the way he plays offensively and the skill level that he possesses, the things that he can do with the basketball. And there's that look that you love to see him give that look.
And
Right.
UC Santa Barbara, Wednesday, December 30th at 6 p.m.
And welcome back. It'll be Gonzaga basketball to start the second half. But first, we go to Nicole Zalumis.
Well, guys, I talked to Coach McKillop. He said that, of course, this Gonzaga team is young, but they've been able to take advantage of the paint. It's amazing how such a young team has been able to hold them off on the runs. They're going to be rested, this Gonzaga team, with the guys on the bench. So McKillop says his guys need to be rested and ready to play in the second half as well.
Thank you, Nicole. You know, Davidson's got some youth as well, Craig. I mean, when you look at Jake Cohen's a freshman, J.P. Coolman's a freshman. These are two starters for this Wildcat team.
And you know their conditioning is outstanding. I think you can just look at them and just see that they're all in very good shape.
That was deflected out of bounds by Will Archambault, so it'll be Gonzaga basketball as we take a look at the numbers. Gonzaga's shooting cooled off a bit, but points in the paint, they were really good, and Davidson out-rebounding Gonzaga.
It's been a problem for Gonzaga the last few games. Elias Harris showing his range again.
Yeah, his second three. Great skip pass that time by Grant Gibbs to find the open Harris. And Cohen tried to answer at the other end and can't.
And how about Robert Sacre? He out. Usually you don't have to go out on your guy when he's out, 25 feet from the basket. But he gets out there, gets a hand up, makes it tough for Cohen to even see the basket, and causes him to shoot an air ball.
And Cohen can shoot 36% out there as, again, Harris going right to the rim. And he draws the personal foul, and he'll shoot free throws. Foul on Steve Rossiter, number 23. And Harris now with 18 points. 15 in the first half.
You know, and the thing about what you love about Elias is that he's showing you he's not one-dimensional. He's not just a post-up player with some good moves down there on the block. He shows you that he can shoot the ball from outside, although, you know, for the season, he's only shot 10 three-pointers, but made 2 tonight.
Brendan McKillop led Davidson in that first half with 12. They're going to need some more three-point shots made by him, I think, in the second half, if the score is going to stay close. That last foul on Rossiter, his third. And He's still in the game right now for head coach Bob McKillop and the Davidson Wildcats.
Well, the next time down the floor, if it's his third foul, you got to post him right up and go right at him again and see if you can get him out of the game.
He's got the ball right there, fall away, no good. Dimitri Goodson, 4 turnovers in that first half, now with the basketball.
Yeah, a couple of those were just like right off of his fingertips. He couldn't quite control it, but if you're going to be the point guard in this kind of a game, you make sure you take care of the basketball.
Gibbs, great pass. Zachary with the great finish. He was bumped under there too, no foul. Here's Archambault at the other end for Davidson. Off the glass, great bucket. Boy, in this day and age in college basketball, you can't blink.
No, if you do, you're going to get burned. And if you're watching at home, you can miss something.
Harris, boy, he's really aggressive now, Craig. Going right to the rim. Now with 19 points, and he'll continue at the free throw line. Again, great position by Rob.
Yeah, and he continued to walk him up the paint. And if you stay where you're at below that block, Grant has no chance of getting that ball into you. But if you start walking the defender up, he's got to get way up higher on the high side. Bam, you get an open look at the basket.
Harris now 4 of 7 from the free throw line, 20 points. But yet to miss a shot from the field, 7 of 7.
Yeah, and how about Robert? I mean, he only got to play 9 minutes because he got 2 fouls. You probably say, well, Stephen got 18 or 10 minutes playing with 2 fouls. Why didn't Robert get that 1 minute extra? Well, Robert's in a different position. You know, he's got to guard the paint, and he can't let anybody in there, so it's a lot easier for him to pick up his 3rd foul than Stephen. But as soon as I say that, you know, it's easy for Stephen to pick up a perimeter foul also.
McKillop. Oh! He hits the big 3 for Davidson. So he's not showing any signs of cooling off.
No, and you got to recognize where he's at. You got to see where he's at on the floor and make sure he doesn't get a look at the 3-pointer.
Goodson. He hits the fall away over Coolman. And it's back to a 7-point game. And Goodson right on McKillop now.
He's getting better at those off-balance shots, isn't he?
Shot blocked by Gray. Here's Harris with it for Gonzaga. Over to Goodson. Inside, Rob Zachary. Nice catch. Shot away. He'll shoot free throws.
Well, you heard what Nicole said, Coach McKillop said. We're getting killed in the paint. They did. 20-12 in the paint. Again, that is Gonzaga's strength. You got the big center in Robert Zachary. Watch Stephen keep pursuing the basketball on the defense. Never saw him, basically, and got his hand on that and blocked it.
That foul on Will Archambault is 3rd. And 3 team fouls now on Davidson this half as Archambault and Rossiter out of the game, both for 3 personal fouls for Davidson.
And with 16, 17 minutes basically in the game, you got to protect those guys because they're 2 important clogs in your offense and defense on both ends of the floor for Coach McKillop.
Yeah, Archambault averaging almost 13 points a game. Just 5 so far to this point. Now he's on the bench. Coolman tried the reverse and a foul called on Harris. And Harris just picked up his first foul. I could have sworn he had one in the first half.
I think he played a pretty good half without a foul.
Pretty good.
Yeah, well, 6 for 6. Yeah,
15 points.
Pretty darn good.
Ben Allison, the sophomore out of England. Allison with 6 points. Boy, I was surprised that shot got there. When it left his hand, I didn't think it was going to make it to the baseline.
It looked like it was going to die. You're exactly right.
I mean, rolling. I didn't think it was going to get to the baseline. Bull Kong now in for Gonzaga.
You know, it's funny. I read an article on shooting free throws that a guy did a study on. You can't see it, but the Gonzaga band's behind the free throw shooter there. And they said if you move, it doesn't distract the shooter. Did you think that?
Look at Goodson just flying to the rim. No, I didn't.
Yeah, they said if you just, the guy that did the study was from MIT, said if you just stand. But here's Meach, look at this. One of the quickest with a basketball from one end of the floor to the other in college basketball today.
Yeah, anywhere.
Yeah. Except when you have 4 turnovers, you want him to slow down just a little bit in the first half, right?
We want him to slow down at the right moment.
Yeah.
You know, you want the ball into the front court quick like that, but then you want it to slow down.
Yes. Take care of it. Get your team into something. Go as far as you can, which Meach does a really good job of. But if you don't have anything, dribble out of there and set your team up. You got plenty of time on the shot clock.
And Goodson now into double figures with 11 points. Now Gonzaga trying to trap. And Davidson does a good job with that. Deflected out of bounds. It'll stay with the Wildcats. Keep an eye on Brendan McKillop.
Well, they put a 6'6" Stephen Gray on him now.
Great look inside to Coolman. He was the inbounder.
Yeah, and got a nice screen on the baseline. Just enough to get Elias Harris off of him, and a good delivery from the top of the key.
Goodson. Great feed. Olenek. Ball loose. Rebound Bryant Barr. And now Olenek and Allison get tied up at the other end. Barr, 3-ball long. Goodson, now watch. Skip pass, Gray. That ball needed to get there quicker.
Yeah, it floated over the top.
Oh, he fakes the 3. Drives, hangs, hits. I think that kid's going to play at the next level, Craig.
You like his body. You like his athleticism.
I just like the fact that he shoots the way he does, and he can put it on the floor and do that. He's just a freshman.
Sophomore.
Well, he's a sophomore, but I mean, he's still such a young guy. This is his first year of major college basketball.
You're exactly right, and he's showed some good offensive skills.
The all-new BMW Seattle is the ultimate center for the ultimate driving machine. Our
brought to you by Coeur d'Alene Casino, where winning is just the beginning at the Coeur d'Alene Casino.
Where Northwest legends are made.
Taking off the window, yes.
And welcome back to the Key Arena. Gonzaga and Davidson, and Craig Davidson, of course, they got to enjoy Stephen Curry, did Wildcat fans. One of the great careers in college basketball history. Gonzaga had Adam Morrison for a few years. He was equally as good for the Wildcats.
Yeah, brought a lot of notoriety to Davidson. And again, once he started, all the ACC schools said, well, where'd he come from? Well, it's Del Curry's son, NBA player for 16 years. Stephen developed that shooting touch that, and then last year actually had to play point guard for him. So he had to give up some of those shots to get other teammates shots. So that's impressive what Stephen Curry did and did for Davidson on that run to the Elite Eight that year.
Cochran with the ball and a lot of dribbling. 16 on the shot clock. Great feed and finish by Jake Cohen.
Great execution. Davidson calls timeout. Gonzaga's made a little bit of run. Coach McKillop says, wait a minute, we're going to come out. We're going to call timeout. We're going to run something and get something offensively. Defense is still there, but Robert got caught on the high side of Cohen, and Kelly got caught coming over late in the rotation.
Jake Cohen, a freshman out of Berwyn, Pennsylvania. Averages 13 points a game with the miss. Olenek the rebound. Cohen on the floor. Here's Stephen Gray. That shot's good. That's a deep 3 from the wing by Gray.
Well, Stephen is the kind of shooter, if he makes one, his confidence soars. Then he starts looking for a shot.
And Davidson right back at the other end.
That's exactly what you want to do if you're Davidson. Gonzaga just made a big shot by Stephen Gray, a 3-pointer. 4 on roster.
Foul called here on Steve Rossiter. This will be his 4th personal foul. Let's check in with Nicole.
Well, you guys were talking about that tournament game 2 years ago, and I talked to Stephen Gray about it. He said he was really trying to soak it all in. Obviously, it was his freshman year, but what he remembers from that night was not so much the 7 3-pointers that he himself nailed, but instead Curry's play. Gray said, I was trying to chase him around the whole game. I've never run around that much, guys.
Yeah, Curry hit 8 of 10, scored 40 points.
Yeah, the one thing, watching Stephen Curry play, he moved very well without the basketball. He utilized all the offensive sets.
The great players do.
Move without the basketball. They find a way to get open, and all he needed was that, a couple of inches away from the defender to get that shot off.
So many of your points in this game is Harris. Boy, is he tough going to the basket. Cohen runs it down for Gonzaga.
Met at the rim by Cohen.
Yeah, we've got injuries.
Teach the game. Teach guys how to use their skills, how to use fundamentals to get their skills better.
12-point Gonzaga lead. This is Harris.
You know, each time both teams had runs, it seems like on offense when they've come out on runs, they've kind of started slowing down, not doing what got those runs going for them.
Gray with a shot with 4 on the shot clock. Rebound, Ben Allison. McKillop. Dan Nelms waits for McKillop to come back out and get the ball.
And a nice job by Robert. Nelms did nothing in the first half, shot no balls. You know, and once he gets the ball down that low, don't foul, don't do anything, because he's not going to do anything with it. And sure enough, he brought it out to the front.
This ball off of Gonzaga, so it belongs to Davidson as Archambault had his shot go halfway down and spin out.
Well, at least we didn't call it like we did the other night. We thought that ball went in.
Stephen Gray called for the personal foul. We'll be right back in Seattle.
That need that Day could have fulfilled for him, so, and Curry would have been his usual self.
Well, Davidson needs to get it going now offensively. Yeah, the clock's starting to tick down.
Not by 12, but still a lot of minutes left. And getting looks like that. But a nice job by Gonzaga, only allowing one opportunity at the basket.
Yeah, Mengistu Arap with that rebound. Stephen Gray, quick trigger. Off the rim. Out of bounds, it goes to Davidson.
Not a bad shot by Stephen Gray, because he is the second leading scorer behind Matt Bolden. Matt Bolden's not in the ball game because of the head injury. Stephen's got to look for a shot. I don't mind him being a little selfish.
And Davidson has to get Brendan McKillop shooting the basketball. Offensive foul called there on Kuhlman.
Well, you like the aggressiveness of Kuhlman of going in, but you're going in against a 7-footer that weighs 250 pounds and taking away the basket. You just got to stop on a dime and try to pull up in front of it.
And that's 3 fouls on Coleman. Davidson already with 16. 4 of 4 from behind the arc, and a great high-low look again, this time to Sacre from Harris, and Gonzaga will shoot free throws. And I'm going to try again now to complete this thought about Brendan McKillop. 12 points on 4 of 4 from behind the arc in the first 13 minutes of the game. He's only scored 3 points in the last 15 minutes.
Well, when a guy goes 4 for 4, your coach is going to make you aware of that. And you got to pick him up wherever he's at. And, of course, we said 2 of his shots were beyond the NBA three-point line. You still have to find him when he's on the floor. I think Gonzaga's defense, thanks to the coaches, has said do not leave McKillop open.
Sacre now with 15 points. And he is 5 of 10 from the line, Craig, but he has yet to record a rebound.
That's not good. 7 foot, 250. He should be, well, he averages almost 6 a game. Sometimes you just got to be downright stingy.
Now, in fairness, I mean, Davidson's shooting 50%, Gonzaga 67%. There haven't been a lot of rebounds.
No, both
There's
teams.
one for Harris.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Let's put the burners on.
And he'll go to the free throw line. And Harris has just 2 rebounds to go along with those 21 points. Grant Gibbs leads Gonzaga in rebounding with 5. And Bull Kong has 4.
Let's just take a look here at halftime. total fouls at halftime. 16 for the Davis Wildcats, 8, so 24 fouls, and then it's picked up again. Davidson has 8 fouls now, so yeah, there's been a little bit of a foul fest. Well, actually, I got the number right here. 21 fouls on Davidson now, 11 on Gonzaga.
And Gonzaga's lead now at 16.
And they're 23 out of 32 from the line, so you like that. Actually, with those two, they're up above that. So
they try to go inside McKillop. He'll shoot it from 10 feet. Missed it.
Too close. He needs to be out behind the arc.
A Rop to Sacre, who's being held.
Oh, they called it on Rob.
They called it on Rob Sacre. That's his third.
You know, and I don't like what I see Robert doing right now, even though he was going to probably come out of the game with his third foul, because you know that he's prone to pick up another quick one right away. Don't walk off the floor, though.
But what?
Well, of course there was acting involved, but but I'm just saying, if you're Robert, man, even though you got 3 fouls, don't walk off the floor. Walk down the floor. They're going to substitute for you, get you out so you don't pick up another one very quickly.
But when someone locks your arm, aren't you allowed to try to unlock your arm?
Yeah, in the WCC, you're allowed to do that.
And now Elias Harris with a personal foul, and he picks up number 2. And the foul's starting to evening out now here in the second half. Davidson with 8, Gonzaga with 5.
Oh, yeah, that's
a foul.
That's a foul.
That's a no-brainer.
You know, the primary thing you teach on defense is stay between your man and the basket. Stay between your man and the basket. If you get out, hustle back, get in front of him, and take it away. If you get caught behind him, you do what you just saw Elias do. Start reaching, and you're usually going to get caught.
Harris with the block there. Of course, the officials for this game, Kevin Brill, Mike Reed, and Donald Scott Harris, any call that they make in this arena that goes against Gonzaga, they're not going to be popular men.
No. This is
There's 12, 13,000 people here, and maybe all but 5 are rooting for Gonzaga.
Yeah, you're exactly right. This is a pro-Gonzaga. Well, it always has been. I mean, that's why they come over here and play this game.
And now they're going to get together and talk things over.
I need an explanation.
Well, Mark Few's not arguing.
Oh, he's got a 16-point lead.
So maybe the clock kept rolling and we didn't notice.
Oh, don't throw it. They got very lucky he got that ball over Manny, because if he saves...
Yeah, J.P. Coolman
saves that ball right to Manny. Manny's got a layup.
Harris.
Move it. That's it.
Well, Lennon can shoot it from out there. Goodson driving off the glass. That's a great interior bucket by the point guard. Goodson now with 13 points.
Yeah,
boy, that's great when you see him knife down the lane like that.
Saw a little crevice that he could get in and get out there.
And Ben Allison at 6'9" buries the 3. And again, Goodson at the other end. Allison with the block, Harris the rebound, and now Harris will shoot free throws. Foul called on Jake Cohen.
Nice job by Meach, getting as far as he can with the basketball, drawing the defense to him, and then Elias being in the right spot. After his man left him and went over to Meach, he went and found an open spot in an open area.
Harris now 6 of 9 as we take a look at Dimitri Goodson. I tell you, when he explodes.
And it was the right choice. Allison, the big guy's on him, right? Ben Allison goes out on him. Meach, don't bail the guy out by coming out and getting up a shot. Drive by the big guy, and that's exactly what Meach did.
Harris now with 23 points. Should correct myself. Goodson with 15 points. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not seen the Decade of Excellence yet, be sure you grab your DVD at gozags.com or call 1-877-281-4377. It's a look back at 11 years of what Gonzaga has done here in the city of Spokane. It's a great piece of DVD work. Check it out.
And remember that great run that 99 team had started
right
there. Right here at the G Arena.
It did.
Yeah, beating Minnesota. These are the kind of plays you hate to see. Manny just getting out there and done what he did was taught to do. Close out, hand up, contest. But he just reached in a little too far. And
a 4-point play.
Yeah, got a 4-point play call on. Coleman making up for.
Sacre posting up hard. Now he sets the screen for Gray, who stops and pops. Stephen Gray, the second half. Man, has he gotten things going.
Yeah.
Now with 14 points.
Only 5 at half.
Yeah, 3 of 5 from behind the arc.
So all 9 points coming from behind the arc for Stephen Gray in the second half.
Archambault, that's way off. Tipped out by Allison, and Archambault runs it down. New shot clock. And now Allison feeling it again from 3. That one's short, and Gray runs it down for Gonzaga.
Push it if it's there, but back it out if it's not.
Gray can't get the roll. And it's Davidson basketball. Stephen Gray coming alive for Gonzaga. 14 points, 2 rebounds. And man, does he look good when he does this. Whack!
6. Fires! And have some space to get the shot up.
I didn't think he had his feet set when he took that shot.
No, he came from the top of the key over to catch the ball.
And he was kind of leaning. We had a perfect vantage point of that shot.
Well, now, if you're Davidson, you want to foul, don't you? I mean, you want to keep as much time on the clock as you can, even though it's a double bonus.
Yeah, you're already there.
With 12 down.
The clock is your biggest enemy right now.
Yep.
The pick and roll. Here's Sacre. And he'll shoot free throws. And Rob having a nice game. 19 points, 7 of 14 from the free throw line. Yet to miss a field goal. At 6 of 6.
And how many rebounds does he have?
Yeah, 0.
Don't say that loud.
Well, they're starting to sing the song, but with 2 minutes and 23 seconds left, 12-point game. The 3-point shot keeps teams in games a lot longer than it ever did.
Well, if you knock down your free throws,
that'll help.
It'll help.
Rob now at 20 points, and that's a career high. 21. .14 game with 2:20 to play.
Well, with your senior leader out, you had to have someone step up, and there's been about 4 guys step up. All guys playing really good second halves. And Elias having a good first half for the first time in his young career at Gonzaga.
And Dimitri Goodson picking up his 3rd personal foul. And that'll put J.P. Kuhlman at the free throw line. Makes the first. Fans, Arby's wants to set you and a friend up with Ultimate Zags Weekend. Game tickets, VIP access, hotel accommodations, Arby's gift cards, and other prizes. To enter, just text ZAGS to 27297. That's 27297. Or Arby's, or fill out an entry form at a participating Arby's restaurant today. I'm thinking Zags. I'm thinking Arby's. And Davidson with the offensive rebound and putback. And it's back to 11 with 2:07 to play.
30, so it makes the possession short. Now, see, they left Stephen wide open, but they chose not to foul.
Well, you don't want to foul him, probably.
No, and you probably don't want to foul right now. And if you're Gonzaga, you don't want to shoot right now, but unless you get a shot like that.
But that was too easy.
He had a smaller man on him,
And he was able to go right down to 6 feet away.
Yeah, Cochran's a lot smaller.
And the turnover.
And now
you have to start fouling.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to have any opportunity now, you got to, or you can concede.
And Goodson blows right by down through the middle. And the offensive foul called on Dimitri Goodson.
You know what?
Timeout, Gonzaga.
Here's something very interesting, Greg, and we hadn't even really been talking about it. Points per game.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, time now to announce our Group Health Impact Player of the Game. And that player of the game tonight is Mr. Elias Harris. Right now, the game's not over. Harris, 25 points, 5 rebounds, 9 of 12 from the free throw line, 7 of 9 from the floor. When a Bulldog needs help, he's got teammates. When a Group Health member needs help, they've got a great team too, day or night. Learn more about Group Health's Consulting Nurse Helpline at ghc.org. Elias Harris, the player of the game.
Good choice. 46 free throws attempted by the Zags tonight, 35 made. That is very impressive. Aggressive.
Stephen Gray called for the personal foul there. And I didn't see him foul anybody other than Robert Sacre when Rob went for the rebound. It was Stephen contesting him for it.
Stephen looks a little dumbfounded also.
And that's Archambault dropping through the free throw. So Gonzaga's season high in free throws, not only attempted but made, 35 of 46.
Quite an improvement from the beginning of the game. They were very bad. They were 5 of 12 at one time. And then all of a sudden, Stephen hit 3 in a row, and then it started rolling in for him at that point.
And it's also their season high in points scored, but it's also their season high in points allowed. And there's the foul called on J.P. Kuhlman. First half. It's still possible.
It's a possibility, but the way Gonzaga has shot free throws, the improvement.
Because they didn't start out shooting them well.
No, they were bad at first, and we even said that could be their Achilles heel because it had been in the Wake Forest game and the previous game for that too. So it's good to see them step up and knock down lots of attempts.
1 of 2 for Goodson. This is McKillop, number 1. Archambault right down the lane and the lay-in.
That's their last timeout, though. Down the three-point line, Stephen was going to contest the shot, but you know, sometimes just getting 2 points at this point is good enough too. So a nice read by Archambault, seeing where Stephen Gray had left his feet and then attacking the rim.
We look at Matt Bolden. It's hard to believe that he's already a senior. Here, if not, the quick foul. Here's Harris, and he's fouled right away by Dan Nelms. So Harris, who's already scored a career-high 24.
The only thing they got going is the Wendy's. Nine three-pointers,
yeah,
free hamburger.
I think the 100-point thing went out the window a while back.
Okay.
But they're 6 of 12 from the line. And what is it, 8 or 9 three-pointers they have to make, and then it's free. It's singles at Wendy's.
Singles at Wendy's.
Well, Harris really piling on the points now. McKillop turned down the 3, gave it up to Nelms, who drives the lane, and a blocking foul called here on Bull Kong. So Dan Nelms, the senior out of Lake Forest, Illinois, with a chance for 3.
And a learning experience for Bull Kong. If he watches this on tape, you know you want to challenge the shot, but if you can't get there, get out of the way and concede the shot because you got that 10-point lead.
I don't think either one of these coaches are going to be happy with the defensive effort of their team.
No, I mean,
both coaches like it.
Davidson loves playing team defense is what they build their program on, and the same with Gonzaga. They pride themselves on the same thing.
And there you see the offensive output by Harris, Sacre, and Goodson.
Well, now with 50 seconds left, if you don't, you got a foul. You got it under 10, what we talked about.
And now 10 to 12. Rob Sacre coming in for GU. And it's the shooters back in for Davidson. McKillop and Kuhlman. As Goodson attempts the second free throw. That one's short. Rebound, Rob Sacre.
First rebound of the night.
And now he needs help. Got it to Stephen Gray.
Couldn't have come in at a better time, Robert.
Foul called on Ben Allison. Yeah, Sacre's first rebound with 43 seconds left in the game.
You know, sometimes though, I mean, he's been challenged. They've had bodies on him all night.
Gonzaga's been money at the free throw line down the stretch here. The final 5 minutes, the 12 of 15.
When it counts, put them in.
And Sacre makes them both. His career high continuing to grow. Now at 23. Here's Helms inside. He lost the handle. Right to Grant Gibbs.
Now you can see.
And now Goodson.
A 12-point lead under the shot clock. Davidson backs off.
And Davidson's going to call it good. Gonzaga gets to 7-2 on the season. Davidson falls to 2-7. And Gonzaga now 4-3 in the battle in Seattle. And it ends a 3-game losing streak over here for the Zags. This is a nice win for Gonzaga. Two great coaches, two great teachers meeting at half court. Two of the classiest programs in America, Craig.
I totally agree with you.
Both do it right.
They do it the right way. They get kids that they can teach and coach, and then they apply it on the floor, and you see it. And when you see that kind of stuff happening, you can't help but root for both sides.
And really, two young teams. I mean, Davidson now, they're a lot like Gonzaga did when they lost Adam Morrison to the NBA. They had to learn to play without him. This Davidson program now has to go through a year, maybe two, where they learn how to play without Stephen Curry, because for those seasons, he took every shot, every big shot in every game that they needed. He was the guy.
Yeah.
And so these players have to learn to do that.
Well, I mean, and you lose to Butler the first game of the year, 73-62. That's close enough to. And South Florida's got a team, 65-58 there. You got some good parts. You're just going to have to let them play together, and hopefully that they come together before the conference starts, and then go into conference and just make some noise.
Yeah, and conference has already started for Davidson. They lost to the College of Charleston, who's picked to win the South. So who knows? And for Gonzaga, conference play is down the road, but they've got a big showdown with Duke next week. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I wish everyone watching a happy holiday season. For Craig Elo, I'm Greg Heister, along with Nicole Zalumas. We say good night from Seattle, where Gonzaga has earned their 7th win of the season. They are now 7-2, ranked number 21 in the country. Happy holidays to all, and good night from Seattle, Washington.